All right, then, so on your side mirror this morning, we're going to be talking regulations of mail dispatch and courier services. Now, for quite a while now, lots of you have been calling out to talk about the dispatch riders, some of them having issues with the law enforcement. And then we decided to look into this and also bring it for public consumption. Let's see, what are the regulations? What does it mean for you to have a dispatch or a mail dispatch, or perhaps to be involved in courier services? And joining us this morning to take us through that is Abdul-Hafeez Gbolahan Toriola. He's Director, Transport Operations, Lagos State Ministry of Transport. Nice to have you in the building. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Victor.
All right, and how was the celebrations?
Alhamdulillah, we thank God.
Okay, that's very good. Let's begin by looking at this aspect of logistics. Mail dispatch and courier services. We rarely talk about them on this platform, but this morning we had to do that because in the past 2 to 3 weeks, we've been having 1 or 2 issues with enforcement. So how would you assess this part of transportation in Lagos?
Thank you, Mr. Victor. I think it's important I mention this, that, we all know that transportation is all about movement of goods and services. Mm-hmm. And one of the components you can think of, one of the mode, is also mail distribution and courier services, apart from the water, road, rail, air, and other things. But we are forgetting that courier service and mail distribution is another mode of transportation.
Right.
And most of us don't know there is a regulation for it.
Okay.
And people just go into it without actually going through the due process.
Right, and that's what I want to find out, really. So who regulates this dispatch riders and then the courier services? Who regulates them in the state?
Yeah, it's in 2 ways. You have to start from the federal government.
Okay.
The federal government had the exclusive right or power to legislate on the courier service before you now come to the state to give you approval. When you look at the Act of 1994 for NIPOST,
right,
and there's a department called Courier Regulative Department in NIPOST. So you start from there, you apply to them. When you now, after your application and your approval from the NIPOST, you now come down to the state. They will now forward the list of approved organizations or companies to the state government, to the Ministry of Transportation, who will now use the power under Schedule 1, Section 326, Subsection 15.3, to now give approval. Is approved. Is well written there that the ministry will now give approval for courier companies that want to use motorcycle for what? For dispatch, for their operations.
Okay.
So it is well stated in that law.
So there must be a connection,
yes,
between the NIPOST, that is Nigerian Postal Service,
yes,
and then the State Ministry of Transportation for this to happen.
Yes.
All right. Now, are individuals registered? Can they get certification from NIPOST?
It has to. You have to be a corporate organization.
Okay.
Because
to be involved in this.
Yes, to be involved in it, and there is a guidelines actually from the federal and even the state government too. We have the federal government guideline from NIPOST, as I've mentioned. We also have the state guideline for the mode of their operations, which is very clear.
All right, so Engineer Toriola, if I have a motorbike, for instance, and I want to go into this kind of a business for mail dispatch or courier service, can't I just start, or can I come to you, or where do I go to? Let's start from there.
Yes, I think I need to mention it. Initially, we have 2 categories in the courier service and mail distribution business. So the first category is deal with the international, like you all know, DHL, FedEx. I don't know if you can remember.
Okay, yes.
We have
those are international courier services.
Operators.
Yeah.
Yes. We also have the national one. Those are based in Nigeria. They can operate anywhere in the country. But after the appeals, let me put it that way, from the operators in small scale operators, the NIPOST now decided to increase the categories to 6 now. I need to mention this.
Okay.
To 6. People have started crying that the cost of registration from the NIPOST is on the high side, because initially they have 2 categories.
Right.
Now they introduce the other 4 categories, making it 6, which I'll just mention.
Right.
Like I mentioned 2, international and national. They now introduce what you call regional.
Okay.
regional. They also introduce what you call the state categories. They also introduce what you call municipal categories, and the for SME, for small scale business. So just to accommodate everybody now.
So can we break this down? When we say regional, does that mean only those that will be moving from one region to the other, or what does it mean?
You can only operate within a region.
Okay.
And there is also a prerequisite or a constraint there.
Okay. What's the constraint?
You have, like for example, if you're operating SME, that for small scale, you can only operate between 1 to 5 bikes.
Okay, within your company.
Within your
only
company, you can
5
only
bikes.
use 5 bikes, unless you want to move to municipal, which you can operate with 6 and above.
Okay.
But if you are operating within the region, like you all know, region means you can operate within the southwest.
That's right. That's a region.
Yes. So you have unlimited bike, but you cannot go outside that region. So you also have national, that you can operate anywhere state, anywhere in the state. It's true. The national, you can operate anywhere in
the
Nigeria.
country.
So you are not limited to Lagos or Ogun State. You can operate in Kaduna, you can operate in Kano, you can operate in Rivers.
Right.
So international, you can operate anywhere, both international and
So you
local.
you can go to Benin, for instance.
You can go to Benin. You can
go to
operate.
Togo.
You can operate. Not that you'll be taking your bike from here to Benin. You have to make it clear. What it means is that you can operate anywhere.
Those kind of services.
Yes.
All right. So what kind of motorbikes can one use for this kind of mail dispatch and courier services?
Thank you very much. That is a very pertinent question, because a lot of people have been using low capacity motorbike, because the law even stated it clear. That section I told you, 15.3. When you look at 15.3.1, it still even stated the 200cc and above. 200cc, that is capacity of the bike must be 200cc and above. But there are other things which comes with it.
What are the things?
Yes, you must, like I said, after getting the approval from the NIPOST, the NIPOST will forward the list to the state, and the state will check all your application. You check all the documents and everything. From there, you also ensure that the bike is 200, and they will give you the approval. They also give you some guideline that the bike must be branded. We must state it clear.
So it must be a branded bike.
Yeah, it's for safety and security. So we know a lot of people can use bike for anything, but in order to protect and be able to identify the owner of the bike or the organization involved, it is well stated that the bike must be branded, so that we can know the person at hand. So you can now maybe follow up for other information you need from the organization.
Let me see if I can take this call that is coming in. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Hello there, good morning.
Mr. Terry.
All right, that's the general manager of Last Mile. Thank you so much for connecting with us at this time. Let's look at day 10 of the partial closure of the Third Milan Bridge. What has gone down in the past 9 days, especially over the weekend? How was it?
Well, thank God for the public holidays, so the traffic was light. Although in certain areas, like I told you on Friday, because of rams and everything, it was a bit heavy at specific locations where there were some rams, and motorists were misbehaving when they should really behave in a proper manner.
Right.
Saturday and Sunday was pretty quiet. I drove around all over the areas yesterday. I am glad to report as of yesterday evening, I did not see a single trailer parked on Eric Moore.
Oh, beautiful.
So the trip from Bode Thomas to Eric Moore, to Buries and Costain was pretty okay.
Okay.
Now, the traffic was a bit heavy over the bridge coming from Igomu into Costain. That's expected considering Eco Bridge is closed.
Right.
But Papa Road was pretty okay. It was smooth. But the activities of the commercial drivers still something we have to contend with.
Okay.
I think when there are less officers on the road and the traffic is light, it just looks like an avenue for them to misbehave. And I pray that they're not, as of this morning is okay. But I feel that still needs to be monitored properly.
Right.
Because for every downfall or whatever driver behaving badly, once it obstructs traffic, it can quickly build up.
Definitely.
The other aspect that I was noticed yesterday, which is a bit of a concern, that there are lots of motorists that are trying to access the Third Mainland Bridge from the Adekunle side during the closure for Island Town.
Okay.
And then they come up there, and then they start doing U-turn and facing traffic that goes to go to Urushoki from that point. And that is a major concern.
All right. So how would you advise them? How are they supposed to make use of that point from Adekunle? Those that are trying to make a return to Iyanawuru.
No.
Okay.
Iyanawuru is not affected. I'm talking about from 12 noon.
Okay.
From 12 noon, there is no access on Third Mainland Bridge from the Adekunle end for those islands.
Okay.
There's no access. The only access open to you is Oyingbo, Ido, Eco Bridge, and Kata Bridge.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Right.
That is what a lot. Sometimes, as of yesterday, I'm just wondering. Like I kept on asking about them. Are you part of this city? Do you live in Lagos or you could side? Because they're just totally oblivious of what is going on. So maybe we're not making enough noise, or people are not aware, or they're confused. It must be one of the three. So we need to sound that out to a lot that there is no, from 12 noon, there is no access on Third Mainland Bridge from Adekunle. Access.
Right.
Right? The same way we've been sounding that there is no access to Adekunle Yaba from the top from Adeniji.
Right. Those that are coming from Adeniji, they cannot access Adekunle from that bridge.
We've been sounding that since last week.
That's right.
So the two factors. So no access to island from Third Mainland Bridge from 12. No access to Adekunle from Lagos from Adeniji to on the Third Mainland Bridge.
That's right.
Those two people must understand that factor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Surely it seems pretty okay this morning. I'm just wondering whether a lot of people have not returned from their Ilea trips.
Most likely.
Yes, most likely. Right? So that might be a good factor as to why the traffic is not crazy this morning.
Right.
It's manageable. So the Third Mainland Bridge closure is the carry on. A lot of people thankfully, a lot of people are aware. And we just continue to manage it as it is.
All right.
Officers are on ground doing the work. FRS is there. Last one is there. The ambulance is there. LRU vehicles for towing is there. And so the situation is manageable. But we should not relax.
Right.
And the people should not compound the problem by buying or parking at the area to do shopping on the road.
All right.
It is not right. It's not going to help us.
Right. So we're going to give you that assignment once again. So throughout today, which is the intent, you're going to help us with the options that you gave last week. Just give a look-see into those areas, and then probably tomorrow you can give us a report if people were able to observe those alternate routes that you gave.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, then. It's nice talking to you. Thank you so much for connecting with us on the program this morning.
Thank you, Victor.
Okay, that's the General Manager of LASMA, also projecting into day 10 of the partial closure of the Third Mainland Bridge. But I have with me in the studio Engineer Abdul-Hafeez Gbolahan Toriola. We're looking at regulations of mail dispatch and courier services in Lagos, and we're looking at it from what has been going on in the past 2 to 3 weeks. So, Engineer Toriola, I was just trying to find out. So, you said there are certain things that are required for me to really operate, and I must have a minimum of 5 bikes as a company. Is that correct?
Yes, for SME.
The small and medium scale enterprise.
There is a limit, yes, exactly. So like we said, apart from the categories we have, like I mentioned, there is some documents in which you must also obtain from the Lagos State government, especially Ministry of Transportation and agencies and our agencies like the Motor Vehicle Administration Agency, from the VIS, even from MVA2 for riders card. So, like I said, the bike, the cabin, the cabin for the bike must be branded for identification and security, like I mentioned. So the bike must be registered in Lagos State, because we are going anything that has to do with this bike is state banned.
All right.
So for security, you must have the vehicle, the motorcycle branded. I must say that motorcycle is a vehicle too, just like it's a two-wheeler. Right. So when I'm mentioning vehicle, I'm referring to motorcycle. Right. So it must be registered. Like I said, it must be branded. So they must do what's called pre-registration from the VIS for them to know the state of the bike in time of the the specification of the bike.
Okay.
So they must also have what you call vehicle license, roadworthiness, acting permit, insurance, and rider's card too. It is very key that the riders must have the rider's card.
So where did they get the rider's card?
Rider's card, they get it from the Motor Vehicle Administration Agencies.
That's MVA.
MVA. So they must also have those things too. Apart from that, a lot of people have been asking, that we have got a lot of calls, even letters, petitions from the operators. I mean, about some certain documents that
are needed.
They are needed.
Right.
We have mentioned that there's some. You don't, apart from the what I've mentioned, you don't need that document. People said they gave them from Zamfara. You're operating in Lagos, somebody is giving Zamfara document, somebody is giving you Kogi document in Lagos. I said, it is not in the law because...
So I want some people to really talk to you this morning, Engineer Toriola. But before that, if I have just one bike, is it out of law for me to operate?
As long as you are registered, actually you must, like I said, you must be a corporate organization, not an individual thing.
Okay.
You cannot do it individual. So you must have your registration from the CAC, then you go to night post first.
So Folashade's bike, that is just one, cannot operate.
No, she has to follow all the rules.
Okay. All right, let's connect with people out there. Let us also talk to you this morning. I know this has been an issue in the past 2 to 3 weeks. Some of you talking about enforcement of mail dispatch and courier service riders. So you can share your thoughts with us or perhaps speak with Engineer Toriola this morning. He is Director of Transport Operations for the Lagos State Ministry of Transport. What are your views? What are your comments on this?
Morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's your name, sir?
Michael.
Michael, where are you calling from?
I'm at Marina.
All right, Michael, what's your thought on this?
I'm happy for the discussion this morning about dispatch rider. Yesterday, I blocked one dispatch carry passenger at Amadou Bello. I blocked. I said this machine is for dispatch. It's not for carry passenger. I tell the passenger to come down.
And did he come down?
He come down.
Okay, so what's your thinking about their services?
No, I want to call you. I want to call you yesterday, but I'm very busy yesterday. But every time come to Afghan. Yeah, on Wednesday last week, police has arrested almost about 6 in front of UBA Bridge, 7 Bridge. I arrest 6 of them with carry passenger in what contain.
Okay, all right.
It's bus for back. So they don't carry passenger. It's for always I saw them. I think it's for dispatch, not for passenger.
Okay, then. Thank you so much for bringing it to our attention, Michael. Thank you. I'm sure that the Engineer Toriola will take note of this. He says locations around Eco Bridge, Akpogmo, UBA, they are mostly located within those areas. What's your own thinking? You can share your thoughts with us. If you have any questions in that regard as well, feel free to bring that up to Engineer Abdul-Hafeez Gbolahan Toriola. He will be able to respond to you as well. 0809 912 0777. Turn down the volume of that radio. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All right, what's your name first?
My name is Chris, calling from Igondo.
All right, Chris, please turn down the volume of that radio.
Is that now?
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay. I want to know, is bicycle among the criteria they don't allow to use or move around with?
Bicycle?
Because I was riding my bicycle towards a Koto, and all those local government boys held me and said I'm not supposed to be operating with it.
Okay.
And they really dealt with me and collected some amount of money.
Now, this bicycle, were you using it for mail dispatch?
No, just my personal riding, only me.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, then, thank you so much. We'll respond to you. Can it be used? Okay, all right. We'll still take some more. We'll get back to that question, really. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Share your thoughts. We're looking at regulations of mail dispatch and courier services. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Victor.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Shola.
Shola, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Surrey.
Go ahead, Shola.
By the grace of God,
I read logistics and transport.
Okay.
And I've been in the cargo distribution business for over a decade.
Good.
And I've listened to your guest this morning, from the beginning to the end. And I discovered a lot of things that we are not doing right in this country.
Okay. Like what?
Number one, let me start from NIPOST. So that is beyond Lagos State. NIPOST is a competitor in that industry and still a regulator, which is the only industry that NIPOST does that. If you look at communications, where NCC holds way, NCC is not a competitor in GSM or whatever, data.
All right.
And so there has been an argument over a long period that a regulator should be appointed for Courier business in Nigeria. Because NIPOST itself is also a competitor.
All right.
In that industry. But beyond that, Lagos State, I feel Lagos State is fighting more than what they want to chew.
Why do you say that?
Because for everything they want to interfere, for everything they want to, we know that, see, transport is an industry that you have a lot of informal people. We know that before. And then, by extension, the courier business, where a lot of unlicensed people have been operating for decades. It is good that government regulates them, but that is definitely beyond Lagos State.
Why do you say that?
It is not Lagos State that will regulate, that license them. So the issue of licensing companies in the courier business and removing the unlicensed one will still remain with the operation that licensed, not with Lagos State.
Okay.
Lagos State reserves the right to say, okay, this is the type of bike you want us to use, this is the type of thing we want you to use. But if you arrest anyone that is not licensed, you are not the one that issues the license. So how do you know that they are not licensed? You refer them back to the organization that are licensed. Who have penalty for organizations that are not licensed to do that business? It is beyond what these people do on the road. It is beyond just stopping this man that's carrying. He doesn't know anything. He's employed by somebody to do that distribution. So you go back to you get him and get whoever that has employed him and report that organization to NIPOST.
Okay.
And say, look.
Right, Shola, but did you listen to what he said earlier on that there's a kind of synergy between NIPOST and the state governments?
They are not synergizing. Lagos State is arresting them, and sometimes some of these boys harass them on the road. Like I said, I've been in the distribution business for decades.
Okay.
And the Lagos State have not been doing this before. So if every organization goes to GSM now that is not licensed, it is not the function of any state to remove that. It is NCC there are penalties for such organizations.
Okay, all right.
So if an organization is not licensed to do courier, and Lagos State sees such organizations, they can even seal up the organization and report.
Okay, all right.
I think this organization, we have discovered that they are not licensed to do this business.
Right.
But not that you will not penalize and begin to fine and begin to disturb and begin to. I mean, it's not done.
Okay, then. All right, just listen up. I'm sure.
Let me just add this.
Yes.
Most of our laws in Nigeria are meant to kill businesses. Why? I mean, entrepreneurship is not easy. People that are in government are not feeling any heat. Government money comes every time, but when people set up a lot of, I've watched the way Ministry of Transportation interfered into e-hailing at the time, and they begin to harass them and these are investors employing people. If you have any way, if you have a way want to restructure it, go back to the employers, go back to the people that are registered to do this business.
Right.
Not these unemployed graduates that are driving on the road doing taxi business.
Right. So let me ask you, Shola, do you have a feeling that you have some of these mail dispatch and courier bikes?
I'm not into courier.
Okay.
I'm into full cargo.
Full cargo.
I do a lot of I do a lot of exports, but I've worked in courier before.
All right. Okay, then let's allow Engineer Toriola. He'll respond to you. Thank you so much for your call. Let's allow some other callers as well. I'm still going to take one more before I allow Engineer Toriola to put all of this together, and then he can respond to some of those concerns that you've raised. We're talking regulations of mail dispatch and courier services in Lagos. Hello there, good morning.
Good morning. I really sympathize with the last caller.
All right, what's your name?
I just want people to know that anything Mr. Toriola represents is more commercial than more of a regulation.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Rico.
Lekon, where are you calling from?
Anything Mr. Toriola was telling me at a particular time on radio too, that it is better for that getting a driver's license in Lagos, in Ogun State to drive in Lagos State is not appropriate. Until I challenge him on that. Hello, anything that is more of a commercial tension than regulation. So that is it. People should know that.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Lekon from Lagos as well. And let's put this in perspective. Perhaps maybe you can break it down much more for our people who might not really understand the concept of mail dispatch and courier services.
Thank you very much. You see, the feedback they are giving us is okay just for us to explain the position of the law to the listeners at home. One, we have to start from Mr. Michael, am I right?
Yes.
From Marina. You see, one of the conditions is you cannot use a courier bike for carrying passengers. You cannot. You can only carry the cabin. And the cabin must be branded. I said it. It's part of the regulation.
So I hope your men are going to go to those locations?
Yes. They cannot. And the operators know this. You see, you tell people these are the regulations, but they do something else. You cannot. If you are caught, the law is there. Section 68 will be used for such operators. That is one.
Okay.
Mr. Chris said about using his bicycle. You can use your bicycle for moving. Bicycle is another mode of transportation. You must say it.
All right.
So you can use your bicycle. I don't know what is happening.
Yeah, he says local government guys are always harassing him and they get money from him.
No, you cannot. You don't have anything to do with local government.
All right, so I think the ministry needs to interface with this.
So these are some of the things we have been some of the issues we have been getting from the public. So we need to look at that.
Right.
Mr. Shola, I don't know what is happening, but I must tell you that Lagos State government is not licensing courier service. What the law says is that before you use motorcycle, Lagos State government must sign off. That is what in the law. That is why the NIPOS will forward the list of approved operators to us before we now give them the lands, before we now give them approval to use such a motorcycle if they meet our specification standard. Yes. So
is it wrong? I mean, he's now saying that your men are arresting people who might not meet up with this, and he feels that you guys should report them to NIPOS, not taking the enforcement into your hands.
You see, the law is there. The law is there for all operators to abide with. So if you are now contravening the law, you must be sanctioned. That is it. I must say it.
Does NIPOS know that the ministry is carrying out this enforcement?
NIPOS is aware. NIPOS even actually let me say this on air that during when the state government banned motorcycle on 6 local government and 9 SCDA. I don't know if you can remember.
Right.
A lot of people just move from normal commuter motorcycle to what? To Courier. I don't know if you're aware. So we have this increase in the number of operators. And the NIPOS even came to Lagos. Are we aware of this movement? Are they registered? Did you give them approval? We said no. And we had to sit down together, plan with the National Association of Courier Service Operators in Nigeria as a whole, not even in Lagos State. Right. And we now came up with a blueprint. That is what we are implementing. We are not doing it alone.
Okay, very good. Now that you are making this aware so that Shola can take this, because he's having a feeling that you guys are just acting unilaterally.
No. We work with, and there is a third party liability in view of the law. If I give a bike to someone in my own name, whatever happened to that rider, to the operator, the company takes responsibility. So when we sanction the person, we are sanctioning the company indirectly. There is a third party liability. It is very clear in the law. And on Mr. Lekon, I need to say this. You see, you cannot be based in Lagos. You are living in Lagos. You say you are collecting your driver's license in Ogun State or your state. Well, you are based in Lagos. It is where you reside that you get your document, get everything. I've told him several times. You see, we are operating in Lagos. You are doing everything in Lagos. You're not saying you are going to Ogun State or your state to get a document and to get a driver. Where in the whole world do you find that? It's a normal standard.
All right, then Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. A brief break. We'll be back. All right, then. So we're gradually approaching the last bend for the program. Let's see. Some of you are making comments as well, both on our social media platform. Let's see if we can really connect with that very, very fast. Folashade, let's run through this. Twitter.
Okay, let me start with this one coming from Sunday Jonathan. He says, "Good morning, Oteri, Folashade, and our guest. My question is, how much is the total amount this logistic company pay or documents required of them to have smooth operations without any harassment?"
Okay.
Jonathan from Lekki.
Thank you,
And
Jonathan.
on WhatsApp, Wasiu from Ogijo. "Can I use my CAC registration for my business to acquire registration?
Okay.
Because my business too needs to make use of it for our daily running."
All right. That's from Wasiu, right?
Yes, Ogijo. Ogijo.
All right.
I think that's what you can take.
Okay, then. So, Mr. Engineer Toriola, let's respond to this.
Yes, for Mr. Sunday, total amount, you have to start from the NIPOS. I don't know the categories you want to fall into. Lagos State government, you pay for the approval. That is for to use the and this is
And
per
how much is that approval?
per bike. In the NIPOS, I think the minister came up about last week that he has not reviewed the increment in the cost of registration for different categories. That's another thing.
Okay.
But for Lagos State, you pay 5,000 naira per bike.
Oh.
And you still have to get other documents. So like I mentioned, you need to get a vehicle license, roadworthiness, acting permit, insurance, IDAS card, and LASA too. You have to pay for LASA for the branding. And you have to pay for the cost of registration too. So these are other costs you must also bear in mind. You can use your CAC to register with NIPOST and operate. So once you have a CAC, you are free.
You're free to
Maybe
register
you're going to
with
fall under a small SME.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so that's for Kazim, right? That's
Wasiu.
Wasiu, right? All right. So Wasiu, that answers the question. Thank you so much for that one. So let's begin to take this home this morning. Engineer Hafeez, Gbolahan, Toriola. If you have any infractions on the roads that relates to this, perhaps your men are not really fully understanding this in terms of enforcement, how can they reach the ministry? And who are they to call?
I think they can call Ministry of Information Transport Operations Department.
Okay.
You can call my line.
All right.
Or send a
An
message SMS. And
What's the number again?
080
Yeah.
34
Yeah.
00
Yep.
66
Yep.
83.
83.
But Mr. Victor, I don't know whether you can give the opportunity to answer the e-hailing
Yeah, quickly.
e-hailing operations. You see, we have the likes of Uber and Testifier, which is both. There's a regulation in Lagos State, and the law has been there. So you cannot just operate in Uber. We need to know you need to identify the operators, because there are security issues on this.
All right.
If you want to operate as just like normal commuter operators in Lagos State, there are regulations you must follow. Those that are into e-hailing too, they are doing commuting business.
All right.
So they must be registered. We have the guidelines which they must follow through.
All right, we're going to focus on that one of these days, Engineer Hafeez, Gbolahan, Toriola. So you might have to return back to the studios, and then we can talk about the e-hailing services in Lagos as well. But this morning, we must say a very big thank you to you for making it through, especially as we discuss mail, dispatch, and courier services. Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, then. So you heard from him. That's Engineer Hafeez, Gbolahan, Toriola, who's Director of Transport Operations, Lagos State Ministry of Transportation, and we've been able to look at mail, dispatch, and courier regulations. But we have to go continue the conversation on our social media, like we do say. We can bring in your questions. We'll forward it to the ministry, and then he'll be able to provide answers. All right. Our Twitter handle at Lagos Traffic 961, and our Facebook is Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Our YouTube channel, please subscribe to it. That's Traffic Radio 961. We have so many programs there. You can go back and view once again. Traffic Radio 961. All right. Folashade Adiremu has produced the program. Maximum thanks to our executive producer Tayo Akonle. Tomorrow, your side mirror will return. Till then, this is Victor Oteri. Have a splendid day. Bye.